Hello and welcome to OzChris vs. Marvel Comics for week 1 of December, here with reviews and a lot of background noise. I apologize. My neighbor decided, hey, let's at this moment use a very high pressured water washer and also turn the generators on. They did earlier, as you could probably hear in my DC reviews, that they put a generator on, but now they're using a high pressured water washer, so can't really do anything about that, and this is the only time that I can record these, so I apologize for the background noise. I'm trying to be as loud as I can so that my voice, you can hear that for the reviews, and you can kind of just try and drown out the background noise. So I apologize. So we have reviews for The Amazing Spider-Man number 35, Ghostrifter 2099 number 1, and Marauders number 3. So starting off with our favorite web slinger, Amazing Spider-Man, written by Nick Spencer, art by Oscar Bazaldua. I probably butchered that. Coloring by Steve Virchow. The cover by Tony Daniels and Edgar Delgado. So, in this issue, Doom is demanding justice for the assassination attempt that was attempted onto him by some outside forces who are revealed to be Chameleon and I believe Countess Kharkov were the ones who orchestrated the assassination attempt. So Spidey and Teresa track down Chameleon to deal with him, to find out, bring him to justice. And also Teresa wants justice for the death of her partner at the Chameleon's hands. And Spidey is briefly taken away by the device that was supercharged on his back, and he meets Lyra, Miguel's AI from the future, 2099, and all that. So I'll leave it there for that issue. Story, 3.5 out of 5 is above average. I don't really see where they're kind of going with this 2099 stuff. There's little marketing to it. There's quite a lot of tie-ins for 2099, like one-shots and all that. But the main stuff is going on in ASM, and I'm hoping it gets explained a little bit more, because a lot is not going on in here, so that was very disappointing. There really is not much to a story. Just seems to be someone's trying to assassinate Doom, and then there just happens to be 2099 stuff which may or may not connect to it. But yeah, this was kind of an above average issue. Art and coloring, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. The art and coloring here is good. I think there's some particular times, especially here with this first page of Doom, where it's just like, it looks alright, and then there's parts like Spidey, literally the next page on the second panel, like the first panel of the second page, it just looks good. It looks really good. So the art fluctuates a bit depending on who's drawn, but overall I think the art was good, and same with the coloring. And the cover, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. Good art, good coloring. Wish there was a bit more than just like the white background, but good art and coloring. And also, I'm gonna point out something. Spidey points out, like, in a city where there's so many heroes, this wouldn't be a big deal, but it is. Although he says, because the Avengers and the Fantastic Four are out, that they're having such a huge problem dealing with various Doombots and Doctor Doom himself. It's always a problem I think a lot of people have had with Marvel. It's just like, why does every superhero live in New York City? Why isn't New York City the safest city in the entirety of the universe? There are so many superheroes that live there. Why is there still crime? Why is there still invasions, attacks of all kinds still going on in this city? Who would want to mess with New York City with the amount of heroes that live there? And I do like that Spidey points it out, that they're still having so much trouble dealing with just Doombots, and just a huge apparition of Doctor Doom himself. So I did like that little nod to that kind of, I think, a problem a lot of people have with just so many heroes being in one city instead of being widespread across America or just the entire planet. So onto Ghostrifter 2099. This is written by Ed Bryson, art by Damien Casero, coloring by Dono Sanchez Almara, the cover by Valerio Giangiordano, butchered that, and Frank Diamata. And this is one of the several 2099 one-shots. I picked this up because I'm reading Ed Bryson's Ghostrifter, and I've been surprisingly enjoying that for someone that isn't a Ghostrifter fan. So in Transverse City, a group of hackers attack a delivery truck with a certain shipment by a company called Demonics, I believe. So one of their members, Kenshiro, aka Zero, literally like hacks himself into the shipment to into the truck to open the door so they can get to the shipment. And what they just find is just a robot, an empty shell that's there. But at Demonics HQ, several of the employees find out about this attack on their shipment, and Kenshiro's father, who is a member, makes the decision to activate the truck's self-destruct sequence. Despite the fact his son is there, he believes his son is a disappointment for the life that he has taken now. So as several of the hackers try to escape, Kenshiro is still trapped in like kind of the virtual world, and everybody dies except for Zero. Zero wakes up in Ghostworks, where he's met by its king, Blaze, who I'm going to assume is obviously supposed to be Johnny Blaze, given that, it's a Ghost Rider comic. Johnny Blaze, he's currently the King of Hell in the current Ghost Rider series. So he's met by Blaze, who explains that this is a version of Hell, but he can get Zero out if he kind of works for him as pretty much as a Ghost Rider. So he brings Zero back, puts him into the robot's body, and he becomes the Ghost Rider. And from there, he works to try and get his revenge on Demonics. He finds out that his father was the one that killed him, caused the explosion. So with his new body and his new abilities, sets out to get his revenge on Demonics. So that's essentially what happens in this issue. Story, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's a good one shot that could lead into a potential series, but I don't think, apart from this whole 2099 stuff, I don't think Marvel ever will. But it does have an interesting premise and a setup if they wanted to make something out of it. I was very interested in what I saw and what I read. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. The art and coloring here is definitely good. And the cover, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 as well. Good art, good coloring. It's a good kind of almost like futuristic steampunk menacing look for this Ghost Rider. And onto Marauders number 3, written by, if I can find it, there we go. Written by Jerry Dugan, the art by Michelle Bandini, coloring by Federico Blee, cover by Russell Dorderman and Matthew Wilson. So the majority of this issue takes place as in a as a flashback in the past, where Sebastian Shaw has his son resurrected by the Five after being proven that they could resurrect people, shown by Pyro, who would later on become part of the Marauders. So Sebastian's son Shinobi is resurrected, and he's kind of testing Shinobi. Shinobi wants to, given their past, as it's alluded to in this comic, Shinobi wants to kill his father, but is waiting to see, does he actually want to commit to that? As Sebastian explains what the world is like now, given the existence of Krakoa, all the mutants are back together. And what it's revealed towards the end is that, as it comes back to present day, after the events of the previous issue, Sebastian is grooming Shinobi to be his black bishop, to have his own ship, to have his own crew against Emma and Kitty's, as the White Queen and the Red Queen, their teams, because he obviously has his own agendas and is not particularly happy with Emma taking control of Hellfire. So story, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it was above average. It was a bit. I do appreciate it's delving into more obviously Shaw's going to be the main antagonist of this this series, considering, like I said, he's not particularly happy with the decisions that Emma is making. So I do appreciate that they're delving into like Shaw's motives, what he's planning to do, all of that. But I think it was kind of above average, kind of slightly strayed away from what happens at the end of the previous issue, where it's revealed that, you know, Kitty, although it was very obvious, Kitty is now the Red Queen and all that. Art and coloring, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. The art and coloring is definitely good, and the cover I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. Good art, good coloring. Although only 2 of these characters appear in the book. Bishop, Iceman, and Storm don't. Xavier and that's obviously supposed to be Shinobi do appear in this book. So that is it for these reviews. Thank you all for watching. If you want to follow me on social media, my Twitter and Instagram handles are in the outro. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, and I will be back in another video with less of a high pressure power washer, water hose, whatever going on in the background. See ya.